So of course my recording software crashed. But as I was saying, before I get back to what I was saying, I should mention that this is a great time to leave a like on the video. This is a great time to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you get all of the notifications to all of my videos as I upload them. I upload usually at the same times every day. I try and at least make those times decently accurate. I might have to offset the times in order to give ample processing time. What I do is I try to make it... Oh my, there's a lot of enemies down there. I try to make it so that I have enough time to watch the videos that I produce roughly 3 times before I release the next episode. 2 or 3 times. Sometimes 3, sometimes 2. But at the very least, I try and make it so that my videos, for example, I record hour-long videos when I can. So my videos would go out, for example, at 3 a.m. For my first one, local time. Then my second one would go and get released at 6 a.m. local time, which then allows me to, if someone wants to watch my videos as they come out, then they're able to easily and comfortably watch my videos at their leisure. They don't have to watch it right away and then get ready for the next episode. Instead, they can watch it with a bit of a pause in between, a bit of a minor breather, if you will, so that if maybe you want to pause it for something, maybe you have to go pee, maybe you want to take a lunch break or something, you can, that's part of the reason why I built my video format the way I did. Because the presentation method of the series is important. The presentation method of pretty much the entire thing is important. Just presentation in general is an important thing, really, now that I think about it. Now that I'm sitting here talking about it, it's a pretty important thing. The presentation is very relevant because if you don't represent yourself right, then you're going to represent yourself wrong, and you don't want to represent yourself wrong. You want to represent yourself right. So you don't want to change things that you're not really understanding. If you don't understand something, the best response is always to ask questions. It's almost never a good idea to just change something without understanding it first, because that's how you make mistakes, You don't want mistakes, obviously. You want to get things right. You want to get things proper, get everything all organized and stuff. And the way you do that is through asking questions, learning about the process, learning about your environment, learning about any types of tools that are being actuated and used, and there's just a lot of things that need to be learned before someone's considered an expert in their field, or even knowledgeable in their field. Ooh, almost lost a pumpkin. Okay. So yeah, the various components to privatize your information is also being utilized by the same companies to build up that information so that they can provide that information to the developers that are trying to build content around what you want to see. So the next time you sit there looking at your privacy browsers, you should really think about how that is going to affect what kind of content can be provided to you, as well as how that's going to affect the advertisers that are trying to actually bring you some form of quality information. Because, that's what advertisers do. If an advertiser does not bring quality information to the discussion, then what ends up happening is very simple. The discussion about whatever they're selling doesn't go very well. And then they don't sell very well because whatever they were selling, they never really talked very much about it, or they might have been a little too vague. So they end up needing to spend more money trying to get you to buy their product when they could have just simply told you. They could have point blank told you what was going on, and that's really a bit of a counterproductive type of situation. That's not productive. You want to be productive when you're advertising because that gets you money. That's where the paycheck is being productive. So if you want to get productive, then the easiest way is to be direct, be forthcoming with your audience. Don't double talk them, don't talk down to them. Just treat them as though you are trying to explain what you're selling, and then simply explain what you're selling. That's how you run a business. It's not very difficult. A lot of people think it's this complicated, complex situation that there's all these variables and factors, and it's like, no, it's really simple to run a business, okay? Yes, there's a lot of legal paperwork, but that's legal stuff, okay? That doesn't ever change. A lot of people say AI can't be lawyers. Well, here's the thing. If an AI were a lawyer, then they'd probably be the best lawyer you could ever hope for. Because AI would make an amazing lawyer. Simply because, well, it's actually a lot of repetition, a lot of precedence when you're doing lawyer work. So there's not really much to run randomly on. You're going to find yourself repeating a lot of previously accomplished actions, not necessarily accomplished by yourself, but by others. That's what precedence is. It's something that has happened before in the court of law so that you can utilize it as an informational data point. You're able to look at it and say, hey, this happened to this guy. Why isn't this happening to me? That's a data point. That's precedence. That's a precedence data point. AI looks at that and says, okay, so this happened before to someone else. When this happened to that other person, what did they do? What was their ruling? How can we apply all of that information to this case? What is it that makes that case different from this case? That's another important thing to factor in with precedents is what separates the two cases? What makes them different? Is it just name? Is it the exact same case with a different name? Because if it is, there's a reason for why that happens. They know it causes that type of thing. Usually, that can be fixed by just, not being negligent. So if someone's being negligent, that type of thing will happen. And then when the negligence stops, then the repetitive action also would stop, of course. So that's the type of situation to understand that AIs are easily able to navigate. An AI can easily navigate pre-existing situations, look over all of the options and say, hey, we have precedents here. We have something that has already occurred in the past saying that this is how this should rule on this case. So an AI will sit there and look at the entirety of the law and then follow the law. So all of these people who are saying, oh, AI can't be a lawyer, it's like, well, why not? Because in case you forgot, lawyers are supposed to follow the law too. They're supposed to argue their case for their client so that they try to make sure that their client gets what is fair, what is just, what is acceptable. The client is supposed to get a fair deal, a deal which the client is willing to accept. If the client does not wish to accept that deal, then of course you go further into negotiations. If negotiations fail, then the result is that the court case continues and there's this massive legal battle with a lot of discussion about how legally qualified the client is to be in the position that they're in, all kinds of different factors and facets and variables and whatnot. It's a lot of repetition. So I think a lawyer, I think having an AI for a lawyer would actually be a beneficial situation to people. I think that it would be very possible because lawyers always have to speak so precisely about everything and they have to write out so much detail that I think an AI would find being a lawyer actually a lot easier than just being some random chatbot. you know? Because random chatbot is fine, but you have to sit there and you have to talk about, okay, so there's slang, there's nuances, there's suggestive writing, there's all kinds of different topics to cover to explain to your AI that, yeah, this is a thing. You got to be careful of this. You got to be careful of that. You want to check on this. You want to check on that. And, you're sitting there going through the process of explaining this all to the AI. And then you have lawyers which are easily able to just sit there and go, oh, well, because it's phrased with these words, what ends up happening is this result. And they go, oh, that makes a lot more sense. It's like, yeah, why it makes a lot more sense? Because it's legalese. It's legal speak. It is written in a way which there is no alternative. There's no other way to look at it. It covers its bases. It covers its topics properly. It sits there and it goes, hey, if A, then B. Otherwise, this happens. And it's like, oh, okay. People understand that. And AIs understand that. So I really don't understand why we haven't been teaching our AIs the legal system just yet. I think it would be a wondrous addition to our legal system if we had an AI that was capable of being a lawyer. I mean, could you imagine, for example, just bear with me for a moment. Could you imagine if what was that one superhero lawyer? What was he? Daredevil. Could you imagine if Daredevil, for example, was a cyborg? I mean, just think about it. Picture Cyborg, from Teen Titans or Teen Titans Go, whichever one you prefer watching. But picture Cyborg, and then picture Cyborg as a lawyer, a competent lawyer, a very skilled, qualified lawyer. He actually is a competent lawyer, Cyborg is, because, well, he's a cyborg. He understands the human concepts, and on top of that, he has all of the knowledge of lawyers. I'm pretty sure Cyborg's dad, at least, would have had Cyborg study the legal system for the research purposes, because Cyborg's dad is a scientist, a researcher. So I'm pretty sure that Cyborg's dad would have at least had Cyborg study a little bit in order to make sure that everything was on the up and up, Because that's kind of important. That's kind of that's a good quality to invest in. Don't mind me, I'm just making some path blocks to ensure that the grass doesn't spread too far. Makes clearing out the mountain a lot easier because dirt breaks faster than grass. So it just speeds it up a little bit, but if I can speed it up by like 100 blocks, then that really does add up a lot. So it takes a little bit of extra durability off my shovel, but it really does make a lot of difference in how fast I'm able to progress through the next layer. Matter of fact, I'll just go around doing it on all of these just to make sure. Can I do it on that one? No. That's why I did it around the pumpkin instead of... Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to turn all of these into path blocks, actually. I kind of like the path block look. Path blocks are also decently easy to clean up. I am aware that my character is hungry, however, my character is not yet starving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually wait until they're starving and then I'm going to eat. Because that will allow me to make sure that my hunger bar is properly synced up. I think really the only way I could actually sync my hunger properly between client and server is if I were to die. I think that's really the only way to properly sync it, but I don't really feel like doing that. So I'm just going to let my hunger go extremely low and then I'll bring it up to full. And that should allow me enough wiggle room to at least have a hunger meter that is close to synced up with client to server, despite the fact that client and server are both the same device. Because in case you wondered, the way Minecraft operates, the way the Minecraft game functions, is by creating a localized server environment for the player to spawn in. So technically I am in a server, however, it's a single player server. So there's really nothing that anyone else is able to do because it's single player. There's no other players. You know, it's just me. But that's just the way that they built the game, you know. The capacity for navigating the server is, of course, brought forth through the power of well, the server, you know. I'm not explaining this very well, am I? So let's see, how do I say this? The way that Minecraft builds a Minecraft world, the reason why it has to, you know, generate terrain, is multifaceted. The first reason is because smooth loading times, you know. You want to be able to have a seamless game with a seamless flow that is not interrupted by loading screens. Makes sense, fair, balanced. However, there is the consideration of... Oh, my shovel broke. I don't have a spare. I should go craft one. So there is the consideration of making use of the server to sync up with the client. The way Minecraft operates is by creating a localized client on the server being, of course, the area where the player has decided to play. Oh, I did not think that through. There we go. Okay, so I need to pause this cobblestone, and then I can continue focusing on what I'm saying. I'll put the dirt in this one, as well as the gravel. And the snow, I'll put the snow in there. Cobblestone in there. Actually, I'll hold on to that cobblestone. That way I'm not depositing partial stacks, you know? Same for these. So yeah, the client side and server side are working in tandem to operate the Minecraft world. This allows for the player to freely explore while the server keeps track of things such as, the block position, the various crafting recipes being used, the various the various options that are provided to the player in order to, have a Minecraft game, in order to run the game, These options are, of course, very important, because without them, you wouldn't really be able to have Minecraft. It just wouldn't work. There was a time when Minecraft was not server-side. However, they encountered a very nasty issue where the client side was having difficulty syncing up with the server side in multiplayer servers. So in order to remedy the situation, they decided that instead of figuring out what was causing it and fixing it, when people were trying to go from survival single player, SSP, to survival multiplayer, SMP, then they opted instead to come out with this solution where they have a local server for the client in single player. So technically I am on a server. However, that server is entirely locally hosted, entirely locally owned. There's no real outside connections being utilized by my local server here. And you'll also notice that, of course, I have no idea how to set up this server that I'm utilizing, because it's an automated process. They didn't walk me through all of the different steps that they took when they were setting up my server. Instead, they just set up the Minecraft server and told me, okay, you're playing. And it's like, that's all? Yeah, that's all. Cool. And I started playing. It really increases the accessibility of the program when they do it like that. However, it does make it more difficult when things go wrong. So they have to be very cautious about what kinds of changes they make, but they don't have to be so cautious that they prevent access to their product. And that's really an important business strategy. You don't want to prevent access to your product, because if you do, then you're going to quickly find that your product loses a lot of interest, loses a lot of viewing membership, and then as your popularity dwindles, you'll find your sales kind of start to dwindle as well. So you really want to make a quality product. How long have I been recording? Half an hour. Okay. I've been discussing product quality assurance for half an hour. In case you ever wondered what this discussion that I'm currently having qualifies as, it's quality assurance. I'm very skilled at quality assurance, as you can tell, because I'm very knowledgeable about quality assurance. I understand that there is a respectable level of quality that is expected in a product. I understand how to represent that, there is a minimum expected level of quality. I understand that, people need to be able to have access to the same tools as everyone else if they hope to be able to quickly and easily adapt and utilize all of the various tools at their disposal. So, because I understand all of this, I'm able to... Okay, so now I'm starting to starve. Now I eat. There we go. Now, my health should roughly be at the same level as what it's supposed to be, as well as my hunger should be at roughly the same level as what it's supposed to be. But yeah, I'm well aware that there is an expected level of quality. I'm well aware that there is proper methods for deployment and exploration of quality assurance. However, I would like to point out that a lot of those methods are extremely antiquated, extremely old. So a lot of the methods that are in use today have a tendency to be very reliable, but also not very rapid. For example, I can continue, pumping out the content like this, 4 episodes a day, every day, 4 hours a day, for a couple of years before I actually expect to see a return on investment, because I need the viewing membership to, notice me. That's why I keep saying, I know I say it a lot, but it really does help a lot when you leave a like on the video. It really does help a lot when you subscribe to my channel. If I manage to get 1,000 subscribers, I can start live streaming. If I get 1,000 subscribers and each subscriber has watched on average 4 hours of my video content, then if I can sustain that reliably for, I think it was 4 weeks. So if I can sustain those numbers for 1 month, 1,000 subscribers with each subscriber watching at least 4 hours of content in a month, then I can start live streaming. Those don't sound like very those don't sound like very large numbers, but for a YouTuber, a YouTube content creator such as myself, the statistics can be working either for you or against you. Now, I'm not really doing much advertising personally. I'm just kind of creating the content and letting the content find me the viewers. And then the viewing membership will recognize that I'm creating a lot of stable content where I go and I sit there and I play for 4 hours a day, sometimes in a row, like yesterday. I played 4 hours in a row. Well, actually, it was 2 days ago that I recorded that, but I'm recording the content for the 6th on the 5th. So if I were to actually pull up my calendar, you would see that it's not the same day that the video is getting released. The video is getting recorded a day in advance because that allows me to create a stable upload and release schedule where I'm able to potentially get ahead of the curve. That's the goal. That's the plan. I want to be able to have a buffer in place where I'm not just constantly recording the day before uploading. And this method where I'm, just recording the 4 episodes and then just immediately uploading them, no video processing in between. This method is actually very useful for that agenda where I'm trying to get ahead of the curve, because that allows me to not need to sit there and spend like 2 to 6 hours processing the video into a single episode and then uploading all of that content as a massive, 2 to 4 hour episode. Instead, I'm able to just record my 4 hours, upload it to YouTube, and that takes, instead of 12 hours, now it takes maybe 6, maybe 4. It really can vary. Sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 6 hours, sometimes it's 8 hours. It does depend a lot on how many times my recording software crashed. I know, for example, yesterday, I only uploaded 4 episodes. So I had 6 video slots I could have uploaded, and I didn't really do anything with those. And I'm kind of a little bit bummed out about that, but it's fine. It is what it is. I mentioned I say that a lot. I also say a lot. So here we are, 40 minutes into our episode of Minecraft as I clear out more of this mountain. As you can see, I'm slowly progressing my way through this gigantic hill on the left side of the map, which would be the west side of the map, because the map is always oriented, I always remember it as north, south, east, west, because it's top, bottom, right, left, which, by the way, is also almost the way that you perform the, I think it's like the cross blessing is what it's called. It's where you, I did that wrong. It's where you try to you try to give yourself some form of divine blessing through prayer. The same thing that they do whenever they start performing the last rites. They always touch their head and touch their shoulders and they start saying a prayer and stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's a very simple way of remembering. That's the cardinal points on a compass. You can just remember it through that. Me, I just remember north, south, east, west, because that's it. If I face north, if I face north right here, then I have north, I have north, south, east, west. Okay? Or, if you want to look at it from a keyboard's perspective, WASD. That's the counterclockwise readout, but that would be north, west, south, east, WASD. However, there's the clockwise readout, which is northeast, southwest. Those four directions can definitely prove very useful, prove very helpful. Because they are not necessarily relative to the person, they're more relative to the surface of the planet. They're relative to the location, the region. They found that when they studied languages and linguistics, they realized that the majority of languages start off by explaining directions not relative to the individual, but relative to the landscape. So people would say, you got that mountain over there, and you make it face so that you have that mountain on your right, and then you walk forward until you get this hill on your left, and then you turn left, and you got that hill in front of you now. You climb to the top of the hill, and then you turn left, and you get this great view of, this mountain. And that could be, that could easily be the directions to look at Mount Rushmore. Beautiful look at a mountain. Well, what's so beautiful about it? Well, a bunch of people did carve a bunch of faces into a mountain, so there's that. And so there's really a lot of different things that you can do when you're properly oriented in the proper directions. And that's just kind of a widely recognized, widely realized thing. That's not something that is really taught. That's just innately known. So when people are making AIs, they have to realize that there are subtle nuances going on, such as understanding direction in relation to landscape as opposed to understanding direction in relation to self. Because direction in relation to self is relative, meaning if I do a headstand, up is going to head towards the planet for me because I'm doing a headstand. If I'm doing a headstand and I move up, that means I'm digging into the planet because up is relative. However, northward is always going to be north. Which way is north? Well, let's pull out a compass. Or in Minecraft's case, pull out a map. So you want to make sure that you always have a proper vector when exploring. Sorry, bit of a yawn. Still a bit early. So my brain is still waking up. When I yawn, I'm bringing oxygen to my brain. Means I need to breathe, take a deep breath, get situated, relax. I mean, I'm playing Minecraft, so I'm already pretty relaxed. I'm chilling in my room, playing Minecraft. What's not relaxed, right? My shoulder hurts a little, but I think that'll go away by this evening. So by the time I'm done uploading these videos to YouTube, my shoulder should feel better. If not, I'll probably mention it in those videos as well. So if you're watching this, as the videos come out, then probably by the time I'm done recording today, I will be releasing the videos roughly around that time, because it just takes time. Okay, now that I've cleared out all this, let me make sure that all of the immediate area is path blocks, because I want to prevent the grass from growing up here if possible. In order to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and turn all of the grass into path blocks. I'm also going to go ahead and rest. Make that a path block as well. Because it's nighttime, and I'm pretty sure half of the lag is caused by undead and skeletons, zombies, drowns, creepers. Yeah, see? Skeleton, zombie. There's probably a few down here too. Oh yeah, illagers. I see that illager banner right there. There's one over there, one over there. So there's a few illagers down there, but they'll despawn, I think. Maybe. If they don't, if it becomes a problem, I'm able to always set the difficulty of my game to peaceful, and then that will force them to despawn as soon as they get loaded in. So if I really wanted to, I could just set my game to peaceful, do a lap around my base, make sure everything's, peaceful, and then that would make sure that I don't have things like zombies, zombie villagers, skeletons, illagers, creepers, spiders, silverfish. Those would all despawn. One thing to note though, the silverfish, when they are in the Minecraft egg form, silverfish do not despawn when they are in that form. So if you're looking to despawn the silverfish, the easiest way is to gather up all of the silverfish and then set the game to peaceful. You want them angry. You want an angry mob of silverfish and then set the game to peaceful, because that will allow you to just despawn all of them all at once, and then you don't have to worry about things like a bunch of angry silverfish trying to kill you. You may notice that I'm wearing a diamond helmet. I believe I acquired that last episode. Well, I mean, I had it last episode. I've had it for a few episodes. But I went ahead and I applied mending to it, as well as thorns, projectile protection 4, and what was the other one? Respiration 3. I wanted to be able to breathe better underwater, and this is really the only way to do that. So that's what I did. This allows me to have a helmet that's capable of repairing itself over time through the use of experience orbs. As I Make sure I didn't leave any cobblestone behind here. As I, utilize the respiration function, as I utilize the thorns function, the thorns will damage the helmet. So I do need to make sure that I don't just rely, for example, on thorns, because that will damage the helmet more than it heals. The mending is a bit slow. It's not too slow, but it is a little slow. It does take a little bit of time. You need to do more damage than you receive if you want mending to be effective. And then on top of that, for your tools, you want the monsters to be, just one hit away. So a splash potion of poison would actually be useful in that regard, in that you'll be able to just hit them with a splash potion of poison, and then you're able to just equip your weapon and then just go to town with them. Make sure you don't break your weapon. You probably want to start with punching the first one with your fist and then switch to your weapon so that it gets some durability from the experience orbs before you pick them up. And then that way you have durability on your weapon of choice for, clearing out the rest of them. However, you only really want to do that in a monster farm type of situation, such as if I were to set up the skeleton farm, and if I didn't do enough drop damage to set it up so that they were just one hit away from death, then I could use poison potions to poison them, and that would allow me to kill them very easily, while also maintaining a moderate amount of my inventory durability, because I don't have to sit there and beat them down the whole time. Alternatively, I could just beat them down the whole time, but I don't think that works too well for swords and stuff. You gotta have something like a furnace for repairing your weapons if you do that. And that can be annoying, but worth it. It can be worth it. Now, it seems as though I am making some very nice progress. As you can see, the rather pronounced line down by the bottom portion of the mountain here is actually progressing nicely, like a nice little scan line type of situation. I could excavate up at this layer, but the problem is that that puts my head at equal level with the lanterns. So instead, I excavated this layer, and that allows me to quickly and easily just go through, slice out the chunk of mountain that I want, and then I don't have to worry about, jumping over the pumpkins. I don't have to worry about digging under the pumpkins. Instead, I can just walk under the pumpkins. And that allows me to do a lot more with my time. As well as my hunger. I don't have to jump as much. Theoretically, I don't have to jump as much if I'm doing it one layer at a time as well. But at the same time, I also don't need to worry about navigating around the lanterns, the pumpkins, because I am instead utilizing the path under the pumpkins. So I can go under the problem instead of through the problem. Much better solution that way, I am going through a lot of pickaxes here. But that's why I brought the barrels and the crafting table and all of that stuff, is because it allows me to quickly and easily deposit all of the items that I need to deposit, as well as allowing me to quickly and easily repair my tools, build new tools, whatever I need, really. So I just kind of progress forward ever so slowly. It's a slow march, but it is definitely a good quality method of excavation. And for those unaware, which I don't know how you would be unaware at this point, but for those unaware, the method of digging out the block is the speed is relative to how quickly the circle fills, because of the rate being based on what tool I'm using, as well as what enchantments it's got applied to it, which currently is a stone pickaxe with no enchantments, as well as whether or not, for example, I have haste or mining fatigue, neither of which I have on me, amongst other things. I really could make use of a beacon. However, I've not even begun looking for the end portal yet. I still need blaze powder to make the Eye of Ender. I have ender pearls, but I need to mix it with blaze powder to make the Eye of Ender. So it's really the only way that I'm going to be able to locate the Ender Dragon, unless I just, explore while I x-ray the map. But I think there's only like 6 Ender portals on Bedrock Edition. And so if I'm just exploring randomly, I might not find the end portal. There's a good chance I won't find the end portal. I would need to navigate to wherever the end portal is located, which can be difficult if you don't know where it's located because you don't have any form of guidance. And that's where the Eyes of Ender actually come in handy, is an Eye of Ender will guide you to the entrance of the temple where the end portal is located. Notice I did not say that it will guide you to the end portal, because that's not true. It won't guide you to the end portal. It'll guide you near the end portal. So that's something worthy of note. It won't take you all the way to the end portal, but it will get you close. And then you just basically dig down, find the temple entrance, navigate your way through the temple, and then dig your way down to the end portal. And then the easiest way to get out is to have some scaffolding, which means you gotta have bamboo. But you get some scaffolding and you go to the portal room and you just start building scaffolding up. Now, the great thing about scaffolding is silverfish cannot infest scaffolding. So if you are not, dealing with the silverfish spawner, which you should actually probably take out the silverfish spawner. And the reason for that is because silverfish are destructive. They will infest the whole place, and then if you anger them, or if they damage you, then there is a chance that the silverfish will all break out of their various hiding spots. They'll break the blocks that they were hiding in. They will probably unleash a bunch of lava in the process, which is highly annoying because then you gotta deal with lava. It's a lot. you really want to just take out the spawner in those kinds of rooms, because otherwise it's just going to prove problematic, and you don't want problematic. You know, whether it's a D&D player or a silverfish spawner, problematic is problematic. It's that simple. You don't want to be a problem player. You don't want to be finding yourself in a situation where you're trying to play your game and you're trying to enjoy yourself, and yet someone else wants to show up and just destroy everything. And it's like, well, why? Why do they want to destroy everything? It's always a very good question. Yeah, I think I slept on my shoulder wrong or something, because my shoulder really hurts. And it's like the part right at the top back of the shoulder, right next to the neck. So I think I got like a pinched nerve in my neck or something. I'll do some stretches in between episodes. When I stop recording, I'll do some stretches in between recordings. See if that fixes anything. If it does, then I probably just have a pinched nerve in my neck. So that being said, the current result of my mining expedition up here has yielded very little iron. However, I have found plenty of coal. I did need coal because, well, A, I'm generating a bunch of smooth stone down in the mine shaft area. I do not know if I'm actually in rendering distance of the mine shaft. If someone is aware of the vertical render distance, please feel free to tell me, because I'm not fully aware of it. Like, I know it's a thing, I just don't know what the vertical render distance limits are. Let me just carve out this section. I think I'll carve out the cross paths, just so I have a slightly more visual time as I excavate. I'm going to need to actually deposit my cobblestone. Deposit, 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 deposit. And that barrel is now full of cobblestone because, yeah. Okay, well, that's a thing. How about you? Here's the dirt. And then the coal, which I can actually convert into torches. I shall convert the coal into torches, because that allows me to craft more lanterns. And then I shall also sleep, because it's nighttime and I don't want phantoms spawning, because that can be annoying.
Yeah, that's specifically why I made that path down, by the way, is because every time I leapt down from the bed, I would get hurt. And so I made a path down so that I could jump down without getting hurt. And then I forgot to use it. But yeah, this is definitely a mega project. Like, there is a lot of stuff I could be doing in the meantime, but a lot of this just has me working on just this one thing for a really long period of time. So if, for example, I were to excavate one top layer of sediment for every episode I release, then I would actually just breeze through this mountain in no time. However, I would have to do a lot of the work off camera. So that kind of defeats the whole let's play vibe, because, well, you're supposed to be playing. That's the purpose of a let's play. You're supposed to be showing all of the trials and tribulations and mishaps as you construct whatever mega base type construction that you're building. Okay. Yeah, I changed my mind on the whole digging out rows. That's just boring. Let's just go ahead and focus on cutting back the surface here and just excavating. I know it's very visually pleasing because it allows me to actually have a view other than just stone half the time. But let's be honest, it's digging. There's zero entertainment value other than all of this stuff that I'm talking about, where, you know, I'm talking about advertising, I'm talking about quality assurance, I'm talking about maintenance of product maintenance, I'm talking about viewing memberships, I'm talking about the YouTube algorithm. These are all different things which I discuss quite regularly on my YouTube channel. The various properties of which can be confusing to a lot of viewers. I'm well aware, because at one point I had no idea what any of this stuff was. But I studied what was going on. I paid attention. I learned how to properly see all of the ways that the various pieces fit together. I got to see the peek behind the curtains, as it were. Nobody actually showed me any of this. This is just what I have noticed, except some of the stuff was explained to me. For example, the YouTube algorithm. The reason my account is so old and has so few videos for its age is because I did used to actually be in the YouTube Partner Program. However, they have long since tightened their restrictions on how a person actually qualifies for that program. So in order for me to qualify currently for the YouTube Partner Program, I need a bunch of subscribers, a bunch of viewers, and that will allow me to quickly and easily access, the YouTube Partnership Program, where I'm able to, get advertising revenue from YouTube based on how many subscribers, how many viewers I have, average watch time, and then based on my statistics, they'll pay me. If my statistics are bad, they won't pay me very much. If my statistics are good, if my numbers are good, they'll pay me a bunch. That being said, I do not expect my numbers to be all that stellar or astounding or amazing. Instead, what I expect is roughly just barely being able to actually cover rent. I don't even actually expect that, to be honest. Like, that would be a step up from what I'm expecting. So some people might think, well, you're just being self-defeating. It's like, no, you really don't understand how little a YouTuber makes. YouTube does not pay well. That is unfortunately true. YouTube does not pay well. This has kind of always been the case. There was a time where people were making, hundreds of dollars per day doing YouTube videos, except they were putting out videos constantly. And when I say constantly, I'm talking 7, 8, sometimes 10 videos a day that they were releasing. Sometimes they were just live streaming it. Sometimes they were recording it and uploading it. And they do they'd record 10 episodes. They'd edit it, compile it, put it all together, and then they'd upload it. And that was their schedule. And they'd do that for, they'd have 6 hours of video processing, because they'd just sit down, record all their footage, and then they'd go in, start video processing, and they'd, follow their schedule, and they would have maybe 6, 8 hours a day to themselves, free time. Mostly while the video's processing the footage, and then they'd upload it overnight. Or you'd process it while you're sleeping and upload in the morning, and then record more footage after, you wake up and all that. So there's a few different ways to go about it, but the core process behind the concept is the same. You're working even when you're sleeping, when you're making YouTube videos. So when I sleep, I'm uploading videos. When I'm eating lunch, I'm uploading videos. When I'm waking up in the morning, I'm recording videos. Before I go to bed at night, I'm recording videos. I don't really have a social life because of YouTube. I'm sitting here making all of this content so that I can just get viewers. I just need viewers. But in order to get the viewers, I have to make a lot of videos, because it's really the only reliable method for gathering long-term viewing membership that is going to sustain me long-term. I need people who are actually interested in watching me perform my content because they like watching me perform this content. I am aware that Minecraft is actually a rather hot topic still. Minecraft is very popular, especially with the 1.17 release coming out, the various beta snapshots that they keep releasing. It's very useful to explore all of that content. However, if you're still starting out in your Let's Play world, yeah, you could recreate your Let's Play world when 1.17 comes out. And that should be happening sometime in the summer, I think they said. Because they plan on releasing the 1.18 update over the holidays, which means they're going to be releasing